After doing the Philadelphia Flyers today, we take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins as we continue the Summer Report Series. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe as well. Let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, this is a pretty big season here for the Pittsburgh Penguins because of some things that will be more than likely changing next offseason. So this offseason they did make a splash moving Phil Kessel out. They brought in Alex Galchenyuk in that deal and a couple of other pieces as well. This is definitely going to be an interesting year for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, they have $0 in cap space, a big fat zero, and they're going to need some cap space to work with next year if they want to keep some of these players I'm about to mention. So, taking a look at basically the unrestricted free agents next offseason. Leading the list, we have Alex Galchenyuk, Justin Schultz, and Matt Murray. So those are some pretty big names, one in each position. Galchenyuk being, more than likely a top six forward on this Penguins team, maybe a third line center. Justin Schultz, one of the top four defensemen on this Pittsburgh Penguins team, and Matt Murray, who's been the starting goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Won them 2 Stanley Cups as a rookie. Basically unheard of, but he was able to do that. And they still have Marcus Pettersson, who has to be re-signed. I would expect that to be done fairly soon. All right, so taking a look at the roster for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So looking at the forward group, you have on that first line, you have Jared McCann, Sidney Crosby, and Jake Gensel. That is a very filthy first line. McCann, we saw what he actually could turn out to be. He didn't turn out to be what was expected of him when he was drafted, when he went to the Florida Panthers in the Vancouver Canucks trade. But since he's come over in the Nick Bjugstad trade, he's worked out pretty well with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, most players can play well with Sidney Crosby, but he's found a way, to be a pretty reliable player, as well as Jake Gensel, who is a really good player himself. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are expecting him to really turn it on this year. He is their big winger that they're expecting a lot from this coming season. All right, so looking at that second line, again, a pretty decent second line. You have Alex Galchenyuk, Evgeny Malkin, and Dominic Calhoun. No surprise here. This is a very good line. All three of those guys can play center. It is Malkin's spot to lose. I don't expect him to. He's one of the best centers in the NHL. Definitely the best second-line center in the NHL. But Galchenyuk is not too bad himself. He could find himself on that third line as well as Calhoun, but they already have a guy on that third line that fits in there pretty well, and we'll take a look at that. You have Dominic Simone, can also play center. Nick Bjugstad, who is playing the center, so he's the third-line center on the Penguins, and he played fairly well for the Penguins. I would expect that to continue for Bjugstad. And you have Patrick Hornquist on the right side. So he may not be as good as he was a couple of years ago when they brought him in or when he was with Nashville, but he is still a reliable winger and definitely a good playoff performer in the event that the Penguins make the playoffs, which we'll get to. Fourth line looks pretty good as well. You have Brandon Tanev, Teddy Bluger, and Brian Rush. So a pretty good line here. Tanev was playing top 6 minutes with the Winnipeg Jets at certain points last year. So, he's playing on the fourth line for the Penguins. That's a pretty good player right there. Teddy Bluger came in toward the end of the season into the playoffs, played fairly well with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're expecting him to continue that this year. Brian Rust, again, he could jump up into the top 6. So he's on the fourth line right now, but he could easily shoot up into the top 6 at any given point. And then taking a look at the defense, so the top pair, you have Brian Dumoulin and Chris Letang. Letang needs to stay healthy. That's the big thing for the Penguins. They need him to stay healthy, especially, not that their back end is weak, but, things definitely fall off out of the top 4, and that means someone has to come up that you may not want to see. So, on that second pair, you have Marcus Pettersson and Justin Schultz, a pretty good second pair there. And then this, alarm bells go off when I see this third pair and just how expensive it is and how, out of touch the management is to make this move. I'm sorry, Jim Rutherford, but this is an awful, awful third pair. You have Jack Johnson, Eric Branson. Right there, you have won this. They always talk about the fastest skaters and stuff. You have the two slowest players in the NHL, both on the same line, making around $10 million. So, congrats. That's an awful, awful third pair, and that concerns me, and we'll get into that. So you have goaltending. You have Matt Murray and Casey DeSmith. Very, fairly good goaltending, but they've left something on the table that, they have to prove something still. I feel like there's something still left that we haven't seen from them, and hopefully they can bring that. DeSmith did not perform at the NHL level the way they hoped he would last year, and Matt Murray had a lot of injuries. So they were relying on DeSmith, and he really didn't show up the way they were hoping he would. All right, so let's get into playoff talk. Now, it's very early to be speculating if this team makes the playoffs or not. But I have to say they make the playoffs because any team with Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby as your first and second line centers, they're going to make the playoffs. And unless they prove to me that they can't, I'm going to have them in every year, even if it means they get swept in 2 games. All kidding aside. But, this is a really good hockey team, and you can't deny that they have a pretty good chance at making the playoffs, especially in this division. If Matt Murray and Casey DeSmith play good in goaltending, above average goaltending compared to the rest of that division, I don't see why the Penguins can't get back into the playoffs. Maybe not, due for a huge run, but they're still a good team, and all you need to do is make the playoffs, and you have a chance at having a good run. So let me know what you guys think of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Comment down below what you think of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So thank you for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe as well. Check out our Instagram as well at Goal Line Hockey and the rest of our Summer Report series as we start to wind down the Summer Report series, getting ready for the fall. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.